this is home.
Yes, this is my home. This is the little kitchenette. It doesn't have a no stove or anything, but I have everything. I have a skillet, I have a toaster oven, and I have a microwave, so I'm good. And it has a big fridge. Like before this, I was in a motel. So, and before that, I was on the street for like a year. I lost my kids about a year and a half ago. And then, I kind of like went the wrong way after that because I didn't think there was any chance of getting my kids and, it's hopeless and all that. So I ended up overdosing in July, not this past July, the July before. And I almost died. I took 4 Narcans. So that was, that was kind of a wake-up call.
Absolutely, yeah. You just come here. Everybody's welcome. We're here from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, sometimes 10 o'clock at night,
What's going on, Mickey?
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
Working hard.
Huh?
Working hard.
Working hard.
Yeah.
That's good.
How you doing, all right?
I'm doing all right. I'm happy to be here.
Me too. Me too.
Getting pulled all over the place.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, we should talk later about your other thing coming up.
I'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's scary.
Yeah. No, it's petrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting through it. Matter of fact, Maya hooked me up with a therapist. Got me hooked up with somebody.
Okay. Did you see them
Just
yet?
talked to her today on the phone.
Okay. Good.
Get rid of some of my problems,
Mm-hmm. Well, just become aware of them, right?
Yeah.
You can let them go.
Yeah.
All right. Good to see you, Mickey.
All right, you too, bud. I'll talk to you later.
I was actively addicted to cocaine, alcohol, polysubstance for 25 years. What I learned through Zen Buddhism primarily was that how mindfulness could be such a powerful tool for recovery. In that my preconceived notions of who I was had a lot to do with my addiction. Addiction for me, addiction is not the caused by the drug or the substance or the behavior. It's an underlying cause, right? Underlying cause of suffering. So, Buddhism is a study of suffering, basically, right? So as I started to realize that this idea of who I was something that other people gave me, the thread of the addiction started to get weaker and weaker, to the point where it was different than before. Because before it was just like, well, I can't do this because it's going to kill me, but I want to do it, but I can't do it. Whereas when I started to practice mindfulness, I was kind of like, I don't really want to do it because I'm actually really enjoying being present.
When Layla was about 3 years old is when I started. Because that's when I met my my ex-boyfriend. He was on pills at that time. And I'm not saying he forced me or anything. He asked me do you want one? And I'm like, yeah. I had the addiction in me. I just didn't know yet. A year after, maybe 2, the pills weren't working anymore. So someone told us it was a lot cheaper to buy heroin. And you get high faster. So we tried it. And I always said I would never try heroin. But it came down to it, you're desperate to get that high.
A lot of drug use, in my experience, has been a search for transcendence. I mean, personally, but also with many individuals here. And there's a longing for embodiment and for communion with the divine or nature or one another or all of these things. And we just don't have the tools available in order to really make contact. And so, alcohol for me was the thing, but many other drugs too, broke down those walls and barriers, and then it felt like and oh, I love you, man, and then we have these moments of like reality.
I ended up going to rehab. As I came out of rehab, I went right to Samadhi, and Kelly said, no, she can't go on the street. She can't go to the warming center. She can't go on the street. She's gonna end up doing drugs again or drinking. She's gonna be around the wrong people. We have to house her. So they put me in a motel every day until I got placed. One thing is that everybody else gave up on me. My family, my friends. Like, I don't even have my friends anymore. They're, they gave up on me a long time ago. Kelly from Samadhi, she really never gave up on me. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing good today.
I got my 6 months coin from even though I'm 8 months, but 6 months coin at a family treatment court because they go by the first urine they have.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. How are you doing?
We're doing good. I'm teaching her how to scan and stuff and send it out.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Yeah. Do you like my hair?
I do like your hair.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
My daughter chose it.
It's nice to have a change, isn't it? Upgrade.
Yes.
Transcend.
Yes. Definitely.
Hi, sweetheart.
I was talking about you earlier.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
that's the one that didn't give up on me.
No, not for a second. You look good.
Thank you.
How do you like the new place?
It's good. It's it's small, but it's good.
Do you need anything?
Yes.
You
I
do?
have nothing.
Let's make a list and we can see, between all of us, what we can find at home to give
Yeah.
you or what we gotta purchase to
Yeah,
give you.
definitely. I need stuff.
Yeah.
Phil brought me a mattress. Thank you, Phil.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good to see you.
Hey there, folks. Can you guys hear me okay? So, welcome to the, what are we at? Monday night meeting of Refuge Recovery. All are welcome here. Our primary purpose is to offer a Buddhist-inspired approach to recovery from addiction of all kinds. While we are inspired by the Buddha's teachings, this is not a religious program. We do not claim to be the only authority, but we know from direct experience that the path outlined in the Four Truths and Actions leads to the end of the suffering that addiction causes. We invite you to investigate and practice these truths.
A lot of the people that we serve have been told their whole lives that they're no good, that they're criminals, that they're less than, that they're never going to amount to anything. Sometimes by their parents, sometimes by police, sometimes by school, and I gave it gave them an opportunity to say, well, what if none of those things were true? What if those are all ideas? And I may not know exactly who I am, but I know that I'm not necessarily what other people tell me I am. And that was a shift, because a lot of people had experience with other 12-step groups and stuff, but they started to embrace it.
All right, so that would bring us to how to practice the Four Truths and Actions. And I asked Erica if she'd read that for us.
1, we take stock of all the suffering we have experienced and caused as addicts. 2, we investigate the causes and conditions that lead to addiction and begin the process of letting go. 3, we come to understand that recovery is possible and take refuge in the path that leads to the end of addiction. And 4, we engage in the process of the eightfold path that leads to recovery.
Awesome. Thank you.
My dad, he was a functional alcoholic. He would never admit it to anyone, but he always drank. And he ended up with cirrhosis of the liver. So yeah, he drank since he was young. And I was not close to my mother. She and nothing against her, but she was a lot to handle growing up, and I think that has a lot to do with my addiction. She has paranoid schizophrenia, and she is an alcoholic and a drug addict. She mainly did alcohol when I was growing up, and she would do pills. But still, it was very hard growing up with her. She told me that she wished she killed me when I was a baby. In her mind, she thought that me and my dad, because we spent so much time together, we were plotting to kill her. So maybe, I don't know, maybe she was trying to get to me first because she chased me around the house with a knife one day. Yeah.
So I'm going to lead us in the mindfulness of breathing meditation, which is what the book recommends to start with, and it's also the fundamental of all the other meditations. So it's helpful to come back to it again and again. Find a comfortable way to sit and adjust your posture so that your spine is erect without being rigid or stiff. Allow the rest of your body to be relaxed. So we have tools here that we're practicing, like nonviolent communication is a way of, within a couple hours, like really getting to know someone, meditation too. It's like we stop telling our stories and we just sit and breathe together. And then there's something underneath that connects in that. And the meetings and doing movement practice together. All of these things are another way of not, it's not even just connecting, it's like experiencing the connection that's already there. It's just, we've just blocked it out so many ways. Each time the attention wanders back to the thinking aspect of the mind, gently redirect it back to the breath.
The thing about addiction is that we basically cut off our body from the neck down. You're numb all the time, right? It's everything's in your head. So when we first, put down the substance, we're starting to feel things in our body and we're starting to notice things, and which is scary. So if you can learn to stay present with a feeling, which is just a thought or a feeling, and not do anything about it, not try to push it away, not try to embrace it, but just let it be, and it passes. I'm not saying another one's not going to pop up, but eventually it's just, it's like clouds in the sky. They just keep coming.
Of course the attention wanders. Try not to take it personally. It is not your fault. That's just what the untrained mind does. It will take some time and perseverance to train the attention to stay with the chosen object of awareness. And then, as you feel ready, slowly let your eyes open and your senses come back to your surroundings.
I was doing a meditation last night, and it was frustrating. Like, there were a lot of, it wasn't an easy one, and I was taking it very personally. And there's you had mentioned during the meditation in the guided portion, Philip, about not taking it personally. But what I walked away with last night was like, just linguistically, how much we take personally. Like how many times I've said in my life, oh, the rain, ruined my fucking day. Like the rain ruined my day. The weather, doing what it does, ruined my day. And it's just like when I'm always in my best when I can see the absurdity. And I just appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
I had a kind of rough childhood, I guess you could say. I'm struggling with homelessness right now, pretty bad. Which started at like the age of 15. I was in an adolescent homeless shelter. And I've just been like on and off homeless like the majority of my life, which turned into, you know, issues with addiction. And then recently I had lost my children at the end of April for a positive drug screen. And then my addiction, rather than it being like productive, my addiction kind of spiraled after that. I ended up like addicted to fentanyl and crack cocaine. And so I struggled with that for about like 5 months and then finally decided to go to inpatient rehab. This here, if you look, this is a wall. These are people that were part of the community that died from overdose. I was an addict since I was 11 years old, so I'm 31 now. This is about 20 years. This is my first time ever trying to get clean, going to a treatment, anything ever. And I really hope it's my last. But, you know, it's something you have to work at every day.
In mindfulness-based addiction recovery, we teach people how to notice, right? You know, when somebody you know, gives me a dirty look, the guy behind the counter at the quick check, right? You know, because I look dirty, because I'm homeless or whatever. And I take that in, you know, and I'm kind of like, why'd that guy look at me like that? And then, you know, somebody else says something to me, and now, you know, the things just keep layering and layering and layering. And then it gets to the point where I'm like really, really uncomfortable in my body, and I want to get out. I want to get out of this feeling in my body. So, so teaching people how to notice each time you have a trigger, like deal with it, so it doesn't become this compounded, you know, like complex trauma thing. You know, it's just each thing as it comes up.
Now breathe in. And then exhale.
What happens when you stop using a substance is those neural pathways are still there. They're just not live. When you start to practice mindfulness, you create new neural pathways, and you create new gray matter in your brain as well. So basically, eventually, you shift, you know, the neural pathways to, like, you know, the habit is that I want to be present, or I want to, you know, I want to eat healthy, or I want to live.
Wow, I forgot how many good words I had. I haven't looked at them in like 5 days. Even just like these little words, like this one says come back to excitement, and it's just like, you know, it's just like a reference to sobriety for me. Mm-hmm. Excitement being sobriety, you know.
Mm-hmm. And being with your kids.
Yes, that is the biggest puzzle piece for me, being with them. It's weird, like, they left on my son's 3rd birthday on April 29th, and like I just like realized the other day how long it's been, you know? But, you know, in active addiction, the time just, it's like not even a concept. It's, you know, like not changing your clothes for like 4 days, sometimes a week. But by the time I had gotten into rehab, I was actually very skinny. And I had not eaten. It was like 3 weeks since I ate food. My stomach was like screaming. They made comments about it when I first went in. I was very sick also. I went cold turkey off of fentanyl. I was doing like 3 bundles a day. And yeah, I was like really close to death, but I was like 36 hours clean. I was very sick, but like I hadn't eaten. I literally had hair down to my butt. I had to cut it all off because I didn't brush my hair. And I couldn't remember the last time I showered. It was probably like 3.5 weeks before I went. And yeah, it was just like weird. It was just like life just went past. So now it's been like since the end of April, since I've had my children, and until I went to rehab, it was like there's just like I have no concept of the length of time that was there. And I like look at my kids and they're just like, you know, it's crazy. These are my word cutouts. Oh yeah, I love that one. I actually had a few of these and I handed them out when I was yeah, that was like a fan favorite.
I love you.
Okay.
Love you too. Yep. Oh, I love them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For showing interest. It means a lot to me.
Nothing unimportant ever happens.
I love that one too.
So do I. We need to make that on the shirt or something. With your name up front of it.
Addicts, alcoholics, I'm sure a lot of other people that I know that we are very impatient people. You know, I stopped 8 months ago, and you know, I want my kids now. I want a bigger apartment now. You know, I want to live a normal life now. Like, but I know it takes time. Like I learned, you know, over these months that it takes time. And Philip, I remember when I got out of rehab, that's when I was very impatient. I got out of rehab and I went to Stamati and they're trying to put me in a motel because, you know, DSS didn't place me. And I start crying. That was the first time I cried. And I was like, I was next to Philip. He was helping me. And I was like, you know, he's like, what's the matter? You know, and I was like, I want my life together. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be homeless. I want a place. I want my kids. Like, I just, you know, and he's like, well, I remember him saying this. It always stuck with me. He said, you can't focus on the past. Yeah, because I was talking about the past too. I was talking about how I hurt my kids and, you know, all this. And he's like, you can't focus on the past. And you can't focus on the future even. You just got to focus on today, right now. What are we going to do now? And we're going to get you in a motel now. That's what we're going to do, you know? And you're going to stay sober today. Like, that stuck with me. And every day, that's what I do. I focus on today.
One of my favorite groups though would be Refuge Recovery. Yeah, that's at 12:30. Yeah.
You know, eventually, if people keep treating you like you're a human being, then you know sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. You know, then you're like, well, maybe I am a human being. Maybe I have value. Maybe I have worth. You know, and that's really kind of the secret of it. And what's happening now, you know, because we're only 4 years old, but what's happening now is that the people who that happened for, they're so passionate to do that for the next person, you know. So it's almost like I can kind of step back now because it's really, you know, taking on a life of its own, which is really cool.
If you have any questions or if you just need somebody to talk to, whatever, just give me a holler. Yeah.
You said absolutely when you're going to get started of it.
T?
Okay. All right, I'll be back. I have step one.
Paulo's talking to Philip.
I'll literally sit in the phone. I just want to go to the
Just wait. She'll be back for you. Right back.
Okay, we all ready? Okay, here
I'm
we
so
go.
excited. So when I went to family treatment court yesterday, because I made it, so I was doing mornings at step one, but then I was like, oh, I really need to switch to evenings since I'm like coming down from the Suboxone. So I was like having a hard time waking up in the morning, but they moved my visits from one 1 hour visit to 2 2-hour visits with my kids.
Awesome.
Isn't that so good? From where I was freaking 3 months ago, you know, like smoking crack, meth, and 3 bundles of fentanyl a day. Like,
You're doing a very good job.
thank you. I'm so excited. Ooh, there's a lot of.
Yeah, they got a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, well, I switched to the co-ed group, so there's like.
Alright, so I'm gonna pull in
I'm
this
gonna
way.
like it. It's nice to see like the different experiences.
Alright, honey.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome, baby girl.
All right.
You got to ride to be picked up, right? Or we pick you up?
If you could pick me up,
I'll
that'd be
pick
great.
you up.
If not, I have to walk back.
Text me.
I want to come to evening meditation.
You text me.
All right, I will. All right, love you guys. See you.
I love you too, honey.
Thank you so much.
My recovery, yeah, my journey, yeah. My journey was long. Mine, like I said, mine started out as I was raising my boys, got in a car accident. They could not determine what was causing the pain in my head, so my thing is they gave me 90 pills of hydrocodone, the strongest ones you can get. I had 3 jobs, and I was in the middle of a bad separation divorce, so I was shoving these pills in my mouth and going home and drinking 8-ounce glass full of nothing but pure moonshine. Go to bed. You wake up next morning and start your day all over again. My life was just my life. I raised my boys. I went through divorce court and everything, and they tried taking my kids, and I wouldn't let them touch my kids. I wound up losing everything. So I had made a couple phone calls to a couple of friends I know. They told me how to get a hold of David, got a hold of David, walked into 122 Clinton Avenue, and I knew I was home. It was a piece of my life I was missing. My life started coming back together again. The one thing, like Cassandra had asked me one day, she goes, "You don't understand." I said, "No, but I can relate to it." Once you heard that word relate, it changed things. And we'll never understand how each other feels. We can't, because we're not in each other's bodies. But we can relate to it. I always say hope, compassion, and trust. They got to trust you in order to have even a conversation with each other. It's a trust issue. She's worked very hard, her and Erica and all of them have. If I could write a book on it, it would never justify them in person. Each and every one of them's got a unique way about them. And that's where we come in to actually keep encouraging them to go forward and keep them going to their programs and just giving them this sense of hope. I always tell them it's hope. Hope is always going to be right there. I look at their faces and I just see the strength that they keep carrying. That's all I do. I see the strength in their eyes. And it's kind of like when you pull in this driveway every morning, because that's usually where I park, and sometimes I park here, I just wait for them to come in. And if one don't come in during the day, I kind of like figure, okay, are they going to be all right? You know, just text them and make sure they're okay. And that's what they do. Are you okay? Do you need anything today? And as long as I know that they're okay that day, I'll be fine. But if I don't hear from them, I will go, you know, usually we all know where they are. I'll go knock on their door. I'm like, "You doing all right?" "Yeah, I just want to stay in my room today." But I always, make sure they're okay. Because I know what it was like for no one to make sure I was okay. Samadhi is, they call it their home, and they're right. That is that's your safety net. When they walk in the door, they feel more safe there than they do on that street right now. We all feel like that when we walk in that building. It's our safe zone. And on the way home, I think about it in the car. When I drop the last person off, I'm like, they had a good day. Oh, you know what? Did you check all the coffee pots?
Yeah.
And then I look at myself, I'm like, and you learned another lesson. Whose clothes is on the couch?